Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me well. I'd like to welcome you all in our webinar with AAEON company. We named it Fanless, SBC and PC options and how to get the best from them. In case you have any troubles during the webinar, please inform me. We'll try to solve the problems. Your questions, you can write them to Q&A. And at the end of the webinar, we will answer them. And now I'd like to welcome Lin, Product Manager for Embedded and Industrial Boards from AAEON, who will tell us about general updates of AAEON Embedded Board solution. Jan, please introduce yourselves.
Okay, hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Ian. I'm the Product Sales Manager of AAEON Europe. I'm responsible for I'm responsible for the embedded board products, including single board industrial motherboard computer solutions for AAEON. Okay, so thanks to SOS first to invite me to join this webinar so I can present our solutions. Okay, so if you have any questions, just try to put your questions in the Q&A dialogue. All right, so hopefully I will be able to answer you through that dialogue. So you should be able to see the screen now. Okay. Let me try to put it somewhere. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so I would like to have some quick general updates for board level products today with you. Okay, so out of the AAEON product line, we have two product lines. One is called ECD, which stands for Embedded Computing Division. This product line holds two form factors. One of them is the SBC, single board computers. The other one is the ComExpress. This is the coverage of SBC that including the most popular 3.5 inch from us. Also have Pico ITX, which is known as the 2.5 inch. We have the 5.25, the Epic board, and PC 104. For the ComExpress, we have also with the ComExpress basic size Type 6 compact size, and also the ComExpress Mini, presented in both Type 1 and Type 10. We also have some ETX series, XTX, Smart Solutions, plus Q7. So I would like to quickly go through some quick updates about our product and what's new and what's going on. For the new product plan on ComExpress, we have the ComExpress with Coffee Lake in the basic size Type 6. Okay, we already started on this project. We had the early access kickoff with Intel together. Okay, so this product should be available somewhere. The EVT sample should be available somewhere around early next year, or somewhere around Q1. Okay, and we have some schedule change in regards to our current Intel Apollo Lake products in accordance to the step-in postponed by Intel. So according to Intel, for the Apollo Lake Atom product lines, they will have the final step-in of CPU called the F0, which is this one. Okay, but apparently this F0 will be only available starting from late Q3 in 2018. So at the moment, we are more focusing on the Celeron and Pentium solution. But for sure, when the final CPU for the Atom are ready, we will move on to Atom as well for the industrial usage, including the wide temperature products. For end of life, we have some Intel CW product that is already announced end of life this year. And for others, we have the cabin leg product lines already available. Okay. There are some highlights about our products. The first one is the Com Express Type 6 based on Intel Apollo Lake. So basically, it is equipped with the DDR3L technology, okay, supporting VGA, dual channel LVDS, or EDP. Okay. One of the unique selling point about this product is actually it supports ECC memory. Okay, this is ECC only. So this could be an ideal solution for some Type 6 Com Express for entry-level server applications or networking applications. The mass production schedule is around Q1 2018. Okay. And also it comes, we have the Nanocom with Apollo Lake and the Q7 with Apollo Lake. Okay. This Nanocom Express is based on Type 10. Okay, and this is Q7 module based on Q7 spec v2.1, which is the latest spec announced by SGET about a few years ago. Okay, both due to mass production in Q1 2018. Okay, going on to single board computers, we have some new product plans. For example, we have the Genie APL6. Some selling points are CPU on the solder side. I will go to more details later on. We have the Genie APL7. The Genie board is actually the 3.5 inch, which is recognized as the most popular form factor from AAEON. Okay. We have the Pico with Apollo Lake, a few different models, APL3, APL4. We have the Pico with the Kaby Lake ultra low power processor, as known as the Kaby Lake U. Okay, we have the Pico Semi in box. All these products, we will go through some details later on. We'll show you some slides about the specification and how it looks like. For end of life, for the CW, because since Intel already announced CW end of life early this year or somewhere last year, but then we will still support the CW products from AAEON's point of view until 2019, unless we have some key components goes end of life. I mean, that is very good news to some of our partners because actually this product is already available in the market for 7 years. Okay, AAEON does its efforts to support the customer by extending another 2 years on our own. Okay, so this is how we support our industrial customers with longer longevity plans and so on. Okay, in mass production, we have the Pico APL1 in mass production, the 3.5 inch with the Kaby Lake, and the Epic form factor with the Kaby Lake socket type edge. Some highlights about this product with the Genie APL6. Okay, so basically the board is designed with Intel Apollo Lake processor. You don't see the CPU on here because the CPU is actually designed on the solder side. We do recognize the CPU on solder side design is very popular with some transportation markets, especially when they are looking for a slim size, compact size applications, but it needs to run fanless. Okay, normally it is easier for people to design with the thermal dissipation. The good thing about this board is actually is considered from transportation point of view. We support a lockable VGA, or we can support 2 LVDS, both supporting dual channel 1824 bits independently. Okay, and in total, it can support up to 3 independent displays. So you could have 2 LVDS plus 1 VGA. Multiple USBs, multiple COM ports, and it has an optional eMMC. So one of the good things with onboard storage, such as eMMC, is actually is good for shock and vibration, especially when we're talking about moving objectives like cars, trucks, even in trains. It supports wide power inputs from 9 to 36 volts. Okay, so with some applications could be around public information displays, V-shaped displays, or a point of sales terminals. Okay. And this part of the COM port, because some customers could concern that they would like to have a low profile on the board. So this COM port can actually be removed. Okay, so it can be removed, so you can achieve actually a very low profile I/O coastline. This is due to in mass production end of Q4 this year. For our audience, if you have a question, just send me that, but I will be able to answer it at the end of my presentation. Okay, but just if you have questions, you can still put that in the dialogue. For this Genie APL7, still based on a 3.5-inch, it's highly integrated with multiple I/O. That's the rationale behind the design. We have 12 COM ports and 10 USB on this. The rationale application for this is actually we designed it for some kind of ATM machine, so where they integrate a lot of I/O communication. That's why it requires 12 COM ports. Okay. This product will be ready in in Q1 2018. Another 3.5-inch we call the Genie KBU6. It's actually a refreshed version of the previous SKU6, which was based on the Skylake. But as you might aware, the Skylake version and the Kaby Lake version requires a BIOS refresh. So basically, it's the pin-to-pin compatible CPU, but requires the new BIOS. Okay, so we have the KBU6 already up and running. It's already available. Okay, it supports DDR4 technology, supporting EtherCAT. We have 2 of the Intel LAN integrated that supports EtherCAT. Supports wide power DC input 9 to 36 volts. Again, with a solar up design supporting the board I/O feature from AAEON. We will go through that details later on. Okay, for the board I/O, basically the concept is having a big I/O docking connector that we are able to dock in something on top of it. For example, if you see this one here, this is actually a Genie board, KBU6, with the power over Ethernet BIO board on top. This is the power over Ethernet BIO board, okay, supporting 2 PoE port AO2.3 AF standard. You have additional USB 3.0 times 1, and also supporting wide power inputs. Okay. By docking all together, you might have concerns about the height constraints on the project. But in fact, this is the mechanical drawing just for your reference. This is a standard 3.5-inch Genie board here, plus a heat spreader. Okay. On top of that is actually the BIO board that we were just talking about. Okay, so you will see here, if you add everything together, it's actually less than 1 U height. So you have 38.63, and you add another maybe 2 or 3 millimeters for the heat spreader part is less than 1 U. Okay, so the size of that is still very compact, including the height is also very compact as well. So apart from the Genie board, which was the 3.5-inch, we also have a lot of diversified portfolio based on 2.5-inch. This is the first one we call the Pico APL1. Okay. Again, the CPU is on the solar side, so it's good for thermal dissipation. We have 1 LAN, 2 USB, and plus HDMI output. Again, this has a BIO connector, so you are able to connect additional BIO board on top. In this one, in this case, you have additional gigabit LAN, you have additional 2 USB, and additional audio output. Here is another Pico board, but I would say this one is actually more, they have more industrial features. The reason why I say that is because on this board here, you will find they actually squeeze in a lot of expansions. Let us quickly go through what kind of features you have. With this one, number 1, you have a M.2 2280 with the B key. So you can integrate a SATA, M.2 SATA, okay, or M.2 PCIe device storage. You have this number 2 as M.2 2230 that normally integrated with the Wi-Fi because of the E key. Then again, you have the MIPI CSI one in here, one in here. Okay, you have the onboard memory, DDR3L. Okay, it's supporting up to 4 gigabytes, 4 gigabits here. Okay, you have the CPU on the solder side. You have additional onboard flash as well with the eMMC storage supporting up to 64. And here you can also find a embedded display port. So actually it has a lot of features, but apart from those, you also have an optional TPM as well. So it's also good for security. Okay, so it's very rare that you find the features normally that can also only be found on a 3.5 inch, but now you can find this on the 2.5 inch form factor as well, thanks to our engineers in Taiwan that they are able to design such a new product, a really innovative product. Okay. And not to mention, you also have a possible expansion as well for the BL connector in here. With the Pico APL4, it's a similar idea, which you have also the onboard memory. You have supporting HDMI and embedded display port. You have the SATA, you have M.2, okay. But one of the special point about this product is actually it supports a dual gigabit Ethernet. Okay, which can usually you can find this kind of feature on a 3.5 inch board, but not on the 2.5. Here is the our 2.5 inch board based on Intel Kaby Lake U processor. The Kaby Lake is actually the 7th generation of Core I. That the maximum TDP of CPU is as claimed by Intel is running around 15 watts. Okay, that means if the customer is good at mechanical design and they have a good thermal engineers, they will be able to run the complete system without a fan in their application. Okay, this at the moment we have this board will be in mass production around end of this year or somewhere January in 2018. It was integrated with the SOD based on DDR4, supporting up to maximum 16 giga, supporting HDMI as well. So you will have HDMI display in here, and you also have the M.2, two of the M.2, and dual gigabit Ethernet. Okay, powered by Intel chip i2-1180. On this board here, you also find LVDS, so it's also good for some embedded display solutions. You have additional 2 COM ports and plus a line out. So here's the idea of the BIO and how it looks like. Maybe it will be giving you a more clear idea about this concept if we put it into motions. So basically the idea was if the customer would have an application that runs in a very compact dimension and they have a lot of requirements regarding the sizes. The best thing is you can pick up one of the Pico ITX board first, okay, matching from the performance, the power consumption, even the price perspective. Then you have the heat spreader, which thanks to the CPU on the solder side, and now you can have a heat spreader integrated. Then, if they have additional I/O requirement, they can always add additional BIO, or we have a few standard BIO connectors that's already available in the market. Now it's already available by us. Okay, we will show you some more later on. But if they have very specific requirements, we can always collaborate, do some customizations for them, depending on what kind of I/O they are looking for, if there's any proprietary design requirements as well. So the basic idea then, if you, depending on the application, you can choose to add a heatsink or a cooler fan. Okay, so you have a stackable solution like this, but still maintain in the very small and compact size. Okay, this is how it will look like. Okay. So basically the BIO, there are different buses integrated. Okay, The idea of the BIO is to integrate basically multiple USBs, multiple PCIe. So you have PCIe by 1 times 2, and additional digital display interfaces. Because thanks to the technology these days, we have chipsets that's in a very small package, very good power consumption, and a lot of new features. But due to the constraint of industrial form factors, for example, in the 2.5 inch, it's very difficult somehow to actually integrate and to utilize the benefits of to endorse the technology. That's why we need to think about expansions, but make it a simple way. That's why we come up with the AAEON unique BIO design. Okay, here is all the buses you can find plus in audio. There's additional looping count to connect GPIO and SM bus, and you can also do the PSR and wake, remote wake, and so on. Okay. Here are the standard list of our BIO boards that are already available. Take a few as example. This one we have 2 times gigabit LAN, additional USB, GPL, and audio. So if you add this to any of our Pico, for example, if you add this to our Pico KBU 4, then you can have in total up to 4 gigabit LAN ports. This is something that you can never accomplish on the standard 2.5 inch, but thanks to the configuration of this, yes, we can do it. And then we have additional, we have some BIO that has a lot of feature for this one. We have the RS232 times 14, so they are 14 UARTs, they are 32-bit DIO, additional gigabit LAN, a PCIe by 1 connector. So it's actually a standard physical connector by PCIe by 1. So you can add additional PCIe by 1 expansion card. Multiple USB and audio, and there's an LPT port as well. So imagine how many things you could have do or accomplish by integrating additional BIO board. And for this one, for the application-driven BIO, we also have 2 times the power over Ethernet. Okay. Of course, this one is come only in the 3.5 inch due to the design requirement, but others are in 2.5 inch. So apart from just the board itself, sometimes we do have some inquiries about if they can get a quick, simple housing, because their end customer might be thinking about using a very easy, very quick and easy system that it doesn't require the big, heavy thermal solution. Okay, so we come up with this, we call the Pico Semi series, which is the Pico Ports. Okay, assembled in the chassis. This is what it will look like. So basically, this is a very small palm size embedded box PC, but the chassis is actually quite simple. The chassis is actually built into asymmetric metal that you can just clamp together and plus add in a few screws. Then you will have a complete system. So apart from the standard housing, we also have additional heatsink that's available as an option if the project requires a higher thermal dissipation. I mean, for example, the customer using the bay trail that they can use without the heatsink, normally it will be okay. But if the customer use it with the core ice solution, then of course, normally we will recommend to add additional heatsink, which will look like just like this, okay? You have additional, you can have additional antenna available. There are all the coaxial fixing holes in there. They are already reserved mountings for COM ports and also for coaxials. Yeah. Different mountings. Okay, we designed also for the mounting solution. Basically 2 parts. One of them is wall mount. Okay, so you can add 2 wall mount kits like this, or you can also have a demount kit like this. Okay, that's all for the embedded computing. Okay, so now I'm moving on to the industrial PC part, which includes embedded industrial motherboards such as ATX form factor, micro ATX, mini ITX, nano ITX, and some other small box PCs. Okay, some quick overview about the roadmap summary. So basically, all our Skylake products of our Mini ITX, now the BIOS are all ready to support Kaby Lake. Okay, so whenever you order now, the board will support Kaby Lake CPU. But if you have concerns whether the board can still support Skylake, then yes, this BIOS for Kaby Lake is backward compatible with Skylake. Okay, so always go for the latest one. We have a Intel Blackwell platform to be launched in Q4 this year. Okay, some new Skylake based on Micro ATX, and now we are kicking off the Coffee Lake platform with the Mini ITX running on Intel Q370. Okay. But this is something that is quite new, so we only have the EVT sample available at the moment. Okay, yes. For system level, we have the Nano Box PC. I will give you some details later on. Okay. We will kick it off with the Intel Apollo Lake. Okay, and some CW products going end of life. Product highlights. Okay, these 4 boards are the Skylake portfolio from us. Now they are able to support Kaby Lake. Okay, all the EMB is our Mini ITX series. So basically, we have 4 different motherboards already for Skylake. Okay. And for the Intel Apollo Lake, we have the EMB APL1. Okay, this is still in mass production around end of this year. Okay, it's integrated with the DDR3L technology. 1 VGA, 1 HDMI, and plus embedded display port. But this is co-layout with LVDS. The default will be LVDS. This is something that I think we are doing right now, that we're trying to reserve the schematic to have both LVDS and to have them, I mean, to have one of them at least available. The power voltage will support 12 to 24 volt DC, and it comes in low profile. Okay. There are a few M.2 devices. For example, you have the 2242 here for the SATA, or you have the ET 2230 for Wi-Fi, and there will be a TPN option supporting TPN 2.0. Okay, so the 2.0 part will be compatible with TPM 1.2 as well. Here is the EMB BSW2. The idea of this product is actually to be a successor of our EMB CV1. So previously we had the EMB CV1, which was introduced about 7 or 8 years ago. Okay, actually it has a very good market response on this product. But now when our customers, when the CW was announced by Intel to go end of life, we need to do something to help our customers. That's why we designed a EMB Blackwell 2 in a consistent I/O layout. So for customers that are using their current housing, there's nothing need to be changed by them, but only changing the boards from the CV1 to BSW2. Then do some fine tuning in the software, of course, because of the silicon platform is different. There'll be some fine tune to do, but a lot of our legacy customers run CV1 based on Intel Windows, based on Microsoft Windows 7, which luckily that can also be supported based on the based on Intel Blackwell as well. So this is kind of like the thing that we are doing for them. Okay, this is kind of the strategy as well for the future. Okay, so if you really expecting some product with us today, you'll find no matter if there's a 7 years longevity or 15 years longevity by Intel, when it comes to next successor time, you'll find always a consistent product that's from us that will support supported projects. Okay, again, they will have some TPM 2.0 and M.2 as well. Okay, so Mini ITX, a lot of our customers will also like to have them in very simple chassis. This is why we come out with these called the ACS ACS solution. Here you see that this is our EMB BSW1, which is the low profile standard DC power input. Same again, this is the EMB H110, which runs on the 7th generation Core I solution. This is the Apollo Lake. Okay. So basically, we're able to offer a 1U height chassis and integrate pretty much everything together, including memory, including the storage, plus some cabling, and pre-install the OS and do the test together before ship out. Okay, so it's very easy. It's like walking into a shop. You pick up your favorite motherboard first, then you ask for available chassis. Okay, then we can ship in the complete package on the pallet to the customer. Okay, including power adapter, including all the pre-work to be done. Okay. Apart from the low profile DC power input chassis, we also offer some new chassis as well, which called the ACS1U02. The target for this product is actually to fit in with a higher profile mini ITX motherboard or higher profile mini ITX board. We also have the ACS2U01. This is more like similar to a rack, but then you can integrate by more expansions. For example, you can have PCIe expansion in this one because of the size of the chassis. It's actually bigger. And you can integrate AC power supply in that as well. Okay. Another small box PC from us for general purpose application is this called the Nano 002. I have a lot of inquiries about this product because the customer were originally using Intel sort of like a nuke solution. It's easier to get, but normally when they run into industrial application, they have problems such as instability. They have problem against the thermal because some of the application need to run based on the 24/7 application. Okay, then they will start to look for some small compact size industrial solution. Two concerns from them. One of them is the performance. They're worried about if they can only get such a solution in the entry level platform. The second is usually the price. Okay, and then here we have this solution because the Nano 002 is actually based on the Nano ITX motherboard, which is a very small and compact size. Okay, this is just slightly bigger than your palm, and it's integrated with Intel Core i7 solution or Core i6 solution, meaning to say it also runs fanless as well. It supports a fanless operating temperature, 0 to 40, or you can have a fan version which runs operating temperature 0 to 50. Okay. Apart from these features, you also have more rich feature compared to the Intel NUC because it supports DDR4 technology, two of them, up to 16. Okay, it supports 2 HDMI. And of course, it supports 2 gigabit Ethernet. Okay, multiple M.2 expansions. You have a communication port that you normally don't find on the NUC as well. It supports 12 to 19 volt power input. Okay. So this is something that the customer seriously consider as alternative. Okay, it runs very, very well on a lot of general purpose applications. Okay, and now we are developing something new with the Nano 003 based on Intel Apollo Lake platform. Okay, it should be available somewhere around Q1 or Q2 next year. So thank you very much. So that's all the parts from me. If you have any questions, please still try to ask that in the dialogue. Okay.
Okay, Ian, we have 2 questions.
Yes.
One is if you plan release Mark T.0 modules.
You mean for the Smart 2.0 modules? Mm-hmm. Okay. No, at the moment, our Smart is actually, at the moment, it stays in about 1.1. It hasn't been integrated to 2.0 yet because we are still observing about the market and how it would go. Because Smart has been pushed by SCAD for like a few years ago. And still, we only see 1 or 2 manufacturers able to have a great success out of it. But others, they are more like holding back. So this, at the moment, we are still kind of like observing this. But of course, we have the capability of designing the Smart 2.0 module. If there's actual requirement from the market, of course, we can do that as well.
And I'd like to remind you that we do not finish our webinar because somebody is already thanking us, because Erik Seijner will follow. So please do not leave us. And we have one more question for Jan. If you can explain more industry standards for like smart ETX and where is ION focus for now?
Yeah, well, actually, this is sort of like a small ETS. They are basically managed by different consortiums. For example, small Q7, they are running by SGET. It's called the SGET, based in around Munich area in Germany. And of course, we have the PICMG. They are running on standard products. So is this industrial standards that that's actually, I mean, we are the consortium member of them. Okay, so then the main focus for us, of course, part of that is a modularized product. For example, ComExpress. For example, Q7 is also our focus, but we are putting more focus also on single board computers, which sometimes is a lot more easier for customers that they are not 100% focusing on designing because they want to use some of the shelf solution from the market and then finding more familiar with single board computers. Okay, the customer usually use modularized product like Smart, ETX, ComExpress. They will be able to design it. We have some projects that the customer wants to get the module from us, but they have an idea about the application, but they cannot design it. So they have to design the carrier board by a third party. Okay, we have customers like this as well. So this kind of project usually will take very long time to really go into from scratch to go into mass production. Sometimes it could take up to 1 to 2 years or sometimes even longer. Okay, this is most likely the different thing. That's why we are putting more focus on SBC because somehow it is more easier for customer to choose. But of course, we also focus on ComExpress as well. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope it was satisfied for the question. And I'd like to ask now Erik for his presentation. He should tell us something. He's a product sales manager in AAEON, and he should tell us something about panel PC and Boxer fanless PC. So Erik, the word is yours.
Okay. Welcome everybody. I hope the voice and the sound is okay.
Yeah, now it's better.
Well. All right. First, I want to introduce myself. My name is Erik Seijner. I'm from the Netherlands, and I'm the PSM Product Sales Manager for the SPD division. And you see here in the middle, the SPD division. There are another divisions like NSD, RMD, DMS, and so on. And I will show you some new products and as well some products about the embedded box PCs and the HMI panel PCs. First, I will start with the boxes. There are many boxes today. And first, of course, if you take a look to the SPD division, there are fanless embedded box PCs. We have panel PCs and also touch displays, like you see here. But first I will start with the box PCs. There are a few levels. We have the entry level box PC, entry level, and the ultra slim or the smallest box PCs, and we have the automation box PCs. On the other hand, we have also the vehicles computers and the railway computers, but our focus will be on the entry level, the ultra, and the automation box PCs. If you take a look to our boxes, there are a few levels. The first level you see here, ATOM based, so designed for low power consumption. With simple I/O, we have the boxes 6.4 series and the 6.3. And with more I/O, we have the 6.6.1. And today we have also launched the 6.6.1.6. And on the other hand, you see here above the Core i processors for more performance of the boxes. We have the 6.6.3.8U, for example. And you see here more the 6.6.3.9 and, for example, also the 6.6.4.0. And there will be also launched a machine vision line. I will come to that later. If you take a look to the entry-level box PCs, based on the AAEON processor, we have launched the 6616 today. Based on Apollo Lake and the older Core I, KB Lake S and Sky Lake, the 6639 is also launched. A big advantage of these boxes is if it is necessary, you can change your CPU easily. So for maintenance, for example, it could be easily like the mini cards or HDD drives. It is easy to install. A few screws and you can install the components. There are also many questions about how can I configure the COM ports, because we have a lot of COM ports, communication ports, serial ports, but how can I switch to T21 or 485? You can do it via the BIOS. You see an example, you can choose it easily. If port 1 has the serial communication RS232 or 485. So the settings can be done via the BIOS. If you take to the ultra slim box PCs, they are very small. There is the 6403 series and the 6404 series, for example. But there's also a series with the U at the end. And for the U, we have launched this one and had a better range, or bigger range, from 12 to 24 volt power supply, the input. The ultra slim boxer PCs you see here, a height of 30 millimeters. It comes because we design our own motherboard, and that's why we can produce these slim boxes. There are no others. They have the size like this. If you take a look to the popular boxes today, the 6404 with an CPU G1900, for example, the small factory, very competitive in price. But also the 6639, you can use it for machine vision. So many LAN ports are actual today. Also, we get requests for bigger temperature range, higher. Normally you see standard products from 0 to 50 degrees, and we have designed a WT at the end of the type number. You see it here as well, and that means that you have a wide temperature range from -30 to +75, and that means this is industrial design because of the request out of the market. Yes, we can. We are strong in customizing. I told you before that the SPD division are standard products, but we are strong in customizing. So if there are requests out of the market that there must be a logo of the customer on board, or there must be the whole PC in all the color, or they need a 3G or a Wi-Fi connection, or maybe a second VGA port, we can support that. So if there are questions about it, please let us know. Here you see some explanations about it. Not all the boxes has a standard isolated RS485 port, but there is a possibility to isolate them and to stack in a special card. As well, a second ADD kit is possible. So please let us know if the standard product doesn't have this special wishes of the customer. We can try to help you. Then there are also software packages. We have the High Manager and the High Safe. You can, for example, if you want to do maintenance remotely, you can use this High Safe. It looks like the team viewer of today. It's easy to see the status of your boxer. So I want to show you these two tools, the High Manager and the High Save. It's also for your digital I/O. You can manage them there as well. Of course, there are many applications. First of all, the factory automation that is our biggest market. There are many applications in this area, but also digital signage or robotics are upcoming markets, and especially for a boxer like this, the Ultra Slim 6404 with 4 cores. So you can use it also as a soft PLC, for example. Also, passenger gateway controllers. Why I show you this? That's because there are many serial ports today, and you retrofit applications as well. You see here, for example, an RF reader who is communicated via USB 3.0, or there must be a connected and display or a token reader. So there are many protocols today that can be connected to our boxes. And you see also there are many requests for remote access, and that's just a good thing to know. The 6638, mostly they use it for a gateway. If you want to talk about serial communication 485 or 322, there are possibilities because the connections are on board. You talk about ticket vending. There was an application with a lot of communication ports, so we have a boxer who can use it. In this case, was it 16 communication ports from 485 to 232. It was a retrofit application, so it is easy to use this boxer and to not design a new vending machine. Today with IoT, of course, you can also put a gateway in it, and you can put all the data to the cloud, and you can also do remote maintenance via the cloud. What you see here is a machine vision application. We get a lot of requests for machine vision. We are a hardware company and manufacturer, so that means we don't sell the software of machine vision, but we sell the boxes. There is a series of boxes that can communicate with Power over Ethernet, Camera Link, Coax Express, USB 3.0, and Gigabit Ethernet. There are the most common protocols today of machine vision. And in this case, this customer uses 6639 also because of the LAN ports, the Gigabit LAN ports. The LAN ports are independent of each other, so the full bandwidth can be used. Here you see some specifications of this 6639. You see the range from 9 to 36 volt input, and also the digital I/O 34 bits. What also is necessary because most of the boxes are built in and cannot be started or stopped via this button. So there is a possibility today to make a remote switch on/off button. So you plug it in this in the screen connector, and you can reset this boxer via a remote switch. If I compare the special ones near each other, so you can use these boxes for machine vision. Machine vision needs the highest CPU of today, high performance. I told you Power over Ethernet is a protocol that's for vision or machine vision very hot. This one is also combined with 3 LAN ports. Then the 6640, you can use the PCI Express card slots inside. Then we have the 6640M, and for machine vision with standard 9 LAN ports and 8 USB 3 ports. And if you want to communicate via a frame grabber card, then you can choose the 6839 boxer, because this boxer has an external PCI Express card slot. You see it here on the right side. To choose the right boxer, we have the right solution, of course. If you want to talk about with your customer and they are using many I/O, or they use a rigid design with low and high temperature range, you can use our boxer, of course. If there are requests out of the market for vision controller systems, ask them for which kind of protocol do you use. Is it gigabit Ethernet, is USB 3.0, and so on. The needs, if you are talking with customers who are doing kiosk or signage players, mostly they are asking for a dual display with a 4K HMI support. And if you talk with customers in other markets out of the security, and yeah, they need as well a good CPU performance. About the panel PCs, I want to give you a quick overview of our panel PCs today. What the customer needs today is an innovative design, better performance system, and better lead time, and as well flexible communication, customization. If you take a look to all our panel PCs, we have a few lines. The first line I want to show you here is the wide temperature range, the AHP series. The cost-effective line will be the AHP 1 series. So they have a 2 and a 1 series, from 7-inch to 17-inch. The new ones, the smaller ones, from 7 and 10-inch, has today the Apollo Lake CPU, and these are the ACP line, the multi-touch panel PC. Those line is very flat. You see also many IOs on board, but it's a small design, and yeah, what we see as well for building automation, it's very nice design to have it. It's rigidized, it's industrial, so as all our products, and that means there is no gap between the bezel and the screen. Most what you see sometimes in the market is there are gaps, and dust and water will sink in this gap, and in our design is totally flat. Those series will support projected capacitive touch as well resistive touch. It supports, because projected capacitive touch, the multi-touch support. I will show it here. It's a 2-finger multi-touch system. You can easily zoom in and out, and sometimes if you want to show a PDF form, you can turn this PDF also to a readable output. It's anti-scratch. That means the hardness of the front of the glass is 7H. So sometimes you see applications that persons touch with a knife, for example, and if you touch the screen with a knife, sometimes you see holes into this and perforate the screen. But because of this anti-scratch 7H, it's not possible to these screens. The ACP 1000 series is in 7 and 10.1 inch, based on Atom processor or Intel Celeron. Those are capacitive touch, as told you, standard 2 gigabit LAN ports, then 2 serial ports. You can choose for the 232, 422 or 485. It has standard also 2 USB ports, an HDMI port, and has standard digital I/O. And if you want to communicate via Wi-Fi, please let us know. The power input is 12 volt and it's loggable. But you see here, it supports Windows 7 and Windows 8, and we are also busy to make this as an Android system. The HCP 1000 and 2000, the difference between the 1 and the 2 is the housing. The 1 series has a plastic design and the 2000 has an aluminium design. And there are many HMI applications or SCADA packages like Wonderware or HCP. We have tested with them and are still running as a client. If we take a look to the new Omni series, there are a few lines, 3 lines actually. There's an Omni 5000 series. I will let you know about this a few minutes later. And there's an Omni 3 and 2000 series. You see it over here. The 2 and 3000 series is a modular system because the customizing mostly you have 50 to 100 pieces to make a customized unit. And what you have designed here is a modular system that you can make your own panel PC by yourself. I will show you later on. What you see here, this modular system will use CPU kits, an LCD kit, and I/O modules. So if you want to have a 60:9 resolution screens, you can choose the 2000 series. And if you need the 4:3 resolution size from 10 point to 19 inch, you can choose the 3000 series. After that, you choose your CPU. Do you need a Batesville CPU or the Skylake processor? After that, you can click it on the back side of the screen. So first you choose the screen, second one you choose the CPU, and a third you choose your I/O. If necessary, of course, because you see it here as well. Standard has it also some I/O ports like communication ports, LAN ports, or USB ports. So if you need more I/O, there is a possibility. And you see it here on this slide. What I mean, if you need more LAN ports, there's a possibility to choose the Omni expansion boards. And if you need a mic in or line out port, there's also a possibility to click this module behind the CPU and at the back side of the screen. So you can install the CPU box by yourself. You can choose the size of the screen. You can choose the CPU box. And after that, you choose the right I/O if necessary, and you click it as well at the back side of the CPU, and you have your own panel PC. The BIOS could auto-detect the screen. So if your screen will be defect on whatever, I don't know what kind of reasons, or you want to take a smaller screen, you can connect it directly to the same CPU, and the BIOS sees by themselves the size of the screen. It is very easy with a plug-and-play system. The Omni design has a new mounting bracket system. It works with, you see it here. You pull out of this. You pull out of this system on each corner, and in the middle are those locks. You put a screw on it, and you can mount it easily to the system. Normally, you have lockable metal components, and sometimes you lose it, and this system will be fit on the screen by itself. So choose your the size, choose your CPU, and at least choose the I/O. It's easy for maintenance, and sometimes you don't know what happens with the CPU, but afterwards you can click it easily at the back side of the CPU. Of the monitor, and the monitor can be still in this cabinet. Summary: there are sizes from 10 to 21 inch with an Intel Batesville processor or Skylake. PCAP or resistive touchscreens, standard onboard LAN ports, serial ports, USB and HDMI, and the power input is 9 to 30 volt. And that's also interesting. I will show you in a few minutes later. The 5000 series you see here. So we spoke about 2 and 3000 series. And what you see here is the 5000 series. The 5000 series is a standard product, so not modular system. From the 65 IP class, a really robust design. Aluminium design, so no plastic, so that means more stronger, and that are the needs out of the market, of course. As well as the Omni 2 and 3000, as well the ACP line, it's no gaps, so it's a totally flat design, easy to clean. And you can also use this screen as a multi-touch screen, so with a projected capacitive touchscreen. To do the same, you saw this pictures before, easily to rotate or two-finger multi-touch system. What you see here is the wide range of the power. Is power protected, so if you switch from the plus and the minus and you make a mistake, it doesn't doesn't defect. And it's a short circuit protection. And what I mean with the plus and the minus is reverse protection as well, from 8, 9 to 30 volt protected. Here as well for the 5000 series, the same mounting panel mount bracket system, easy to mount in this into a cabinet. Easy customization, yes, because standard has it a lot of communication ports, but if there is a necessary for industrial protocols, I saw a request before by Ian's presentation, if there is a question about industrial protocols like Profinet or Ethercat, we can also plug in the HMS cards, so you can communicate easily to another protocol or a PLC. And there are many applications. You see here the check-in desk at the airports. In this case, they use an ACP 1073 7-inch easy design full system. Here as well, also a small multi-touch. Then need multi-touch, so more defecting instruments. And that's what I want to share with you. I think there are some questions. I see. Yes.
Not now, Erik.
Are there questions?
No, not now. I do not
Okay.
see. I do not see now any questions. Thank you for your interesting presentation. I can still wait for a couple of seconds. If somebody would like to ask something, please, you can raise your hand. We are still here. Or we can also answer your questions. You can write them to me, and we can also we can ask Erik to answer the questions after the webinar. So if no questions, I'd like to ask you. I'd like to thank you, Erik, for your efforts, for your presentation, and for today that all of you have attended our webinar. And Erik, would you like to say? Oh, wait, I have something in chat. Maybe nothing.
Yeah, and if there are any questions, please let me know, and I will help you as soon as possible.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you for your thanks. And I hope we'll see you in our next webinar. We'll have for the supplier in January. And thanks, Erik and Jan, for your attending. And see you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.